Wednesday evening here in Jacksonville, Florida. We come to you, all brothers and sisters, in the name of Ahayah, bahashem, Yashayah, Barak. And we do thank you for the Most High for allowing us to bring this lesson that we're going to go into.
We're going to do our best tonight to explain the rapture lie and what it really means when Christ comes the second time. See, the Christian church has what, Joshua? Him coming back 3 or 4 times, right, in different areas. So we're going to try to rebut that and try to explain it right to you so you understand the rapture. So what do you want? You want to start in the word, or you want to?
No,
okay.
We're going to read this first.
Okay.
Then we're going to go into some scriptures. But this is a little article that you can read off of Wikipedia.com, Wikipedia online that we printed off.
What is that name? Wikipedia. Okay.
That we just printed off. We're going to
put it down.
be reading through it to help to give you some information.
You can read a page a piece, Josh, if you want. I'll start.
So,
all right, because there's so much deception on this rapture teaching. If you know your Bible, and you should, the second coming is when Yashayah comes back, right, to destroy the enemy at the Battle of Armageddon. That's the only time he's coming back. He's not coming a secret time in the year. He's not coming another place in the desert. Christ even said it. When they say there he is in the desert, right? Don't go out to see him. Or he's in the inner chambers. Don't go. Right? Believe it not. But it seems like his words don't mean anything to a lot of Christians. Today it's, Christianity is just past the plate, and I'll just listen to my anointed pastor. Well, let's see what the Bible says about the rapture. In Christian eschatology, the rapture refers to the belief that either before or simultaneously with the second coming of Christ to the earth, believers who have died will be raised, and believers who are still alive and remain shall be caught up together with them, the resurrected dead believers, in the clouds to meet the Most High in the air.
Right.
The concept has its basis in various interpretations of biblical book of 1 Thessalonians and how it relates to interpretations of various other biblical passages, such as those from 2 Thessalonians, Gospel of Matthew, 1 Corinthians, and the book of Revelation.
So what happens is Christians will, pastors or theologians will use these scriptures to make you believe that the church is going to be lifted off the earth into the sky, when that's not in the Bible. The original belief started with the Jesuit order. They started they wrote a 500-page commentary on the book of Revelation. I forgot the name of it, but the two authors of it was Francisco Rivera and Ignatius Loyola, the first general of the Jesuits. So what these two did is they got together and came up with pretty much the whole rapture doctrine outline, the Antichrist doctrine they came up with. They made up that a temple is going to be rebuilt in Jerusalem when that's not in the Bible. They made up essentially all the major points of the doctrine.
Okay.
The first 2 points are major because they go the Antichrist doctrine.
Come on.
And really makes no sense for people who believe in a rapture to preach about the Antichrist, when if you believe that you're not going to be here, what's the point of preaching about it? So,
amen.
So if you believe that the Antichrist is coming, that's not in the Bible. There is no Antichrist. The Antichrist is not a man.
Come on.
The Antichrist is a system of government that's
right.
always been here.
Because Paul, watch, we get back it in the word. Paul said, what do you say, Tony Paul? There were many Antichrists in Paul's day, my day. So likewise, there'll be many Antichrists in the end days. Right?
Uh-huh.
Right. Josh is right. It's a system. It's a system. Yes, this president's behind a lot of it, and we can prove to you in Daniel that this man is a man of sin, but he's not the only man of sin.
The originators of the rapture doctrine were the Jesuits, the Jesuit Roman Catholic order, the Jesuit order of the Roman Catholic Church. So let's continue to read.
Okay. The concept has its basis in, okay, I read that.
And again,
I'm sorry.
as you'll see, the second problem with the rapture is it leads to date settings for the return of the Messiah.
Right. Good, Josh. Excuse me. The exact meaning, timing, and impact of the event are disputed among Christians. And the term is used in at least two senses. In the pre-tribulation view, a group of people will be left behind on earth. There's another lie, that movie, those two Jesuit priests. They were Jesuit priests who produced that movie, Left Behind. Behind on earth after another group literally leaves to meet the Most High in the air. This is now the most common use of the term, especially among fundamentalist Christians in the United States. The other, older use of the term rapture is simply as a synonym for the final resurrection generally, without a belief that a group of people is left behind on earth for an extended tribulation period after the events of 1 Thessalonians 4:17, 6:7. This distinction is important as some types of Christianity never refer to the rapture in religious education, but might use the older and more general sense of the word rapture in referring to what happens during the final resurrection.
So that's true, because in the final resurrection, people will rise out of the ground and people will be caught up to be.
That's the last day.
Christ in,
right, Tony? That's the last
with
day.
the Messiah.
Whoa.
When he
We
comes.
got the scriptures right, and I'll raise you up on the last day. All right. What's that, John 17?
I think so, yeah.
All right. What's this? There are many views among Christians regarding the timing of Christ's return, including whether it will occur in one event or two. So how can it be two events?
Stop. So that's another point I just said. The belief in a rapture logically would lead you to begin to try to set dates for the Messiah's return, especially with the tribulation doctrine, the 7-year tribulation. If that's true, then all you would have to do is start counting at the beginning, and when it ends, you'll know when Christ comes. So there is no great tribute. The tribulation, according to the Bible, is only 3.5 years. So there's no 7-year tribulation. That's not in the Bible.
The times that we're in, that's how blind the Christians are. Why isn't it now then? Why isn't it 7 years now? From what we're seeing in the world. There are, okay. Authors generally maintain that the did I start here? Regarding the destination of the aerial gathering described in 1 Thessalonians 4, denominations such as Roman Catholics, Orthodox Christians, Lutherans, Reformed Christians believe in a rapture only in the sense of a general final resurrection. All right. When Christ returns a single time, but that's not true either, Josh. All right. A lot of them believe in that second coming. They do not believe that a group of people is left behind on earth for an extended tribulation period at the events of 1 Thessalonians. Is that any validation in that? I thought they did.
Who?
The Christians.
Well, some don't.
Some don't. Okay. All right. Authors generally maintain that the pre-tribulation rapture doctrine originated in the 18th century. It did, with the Puritan preachers increased and cotton martyr, and was then popularized in the 1830s by John Darby, 1314 others, including Gary Jeffrey, maintained that an earlier document called Ephraim or Persuado, Ephraim already, am I saying that right?
Mhm.
Already supported a pre-tribulation rapture.
Let's get
Rapture is derived from Middle French rapture via the medieval Latin rapture, seizure, kidnapping, which derives from the Latin raptus, a carrying off. Greek, the Kani Greek, 1 Thessalonians 4:17, uses the verb from, what's that word? Aprodoxia? Harthmeniasa, which means we shall be caught up or taken away, with the connotation that this is a sudden event. The dictionary from this Greek web is hapazo, right?
Hapazo.
Okay. This use is also seen in such texts as Acts 8:39, 2 Corinthians 12:2-4, and Revelation 12:5. Latin. The Latin Vulgate translates the Greek daponakia as rapinio, from the verb rapio, meaning to catch up or take away.
Which it is true. Christ will catch people up when he comes
His
back.
final return, that's right. English version of the Bible have translated rapinio in various ways. Wycliffe Bible, 1395, translated from the Latin Vulgate, uses rushed. The Tyndale New Testament, the Bishop's Bible, the Geneva Bible, and the King James Version use caught up.
Right.
The New English Bible, translated from the Greek 24, uses suddenly caught up with this doctrine or snatched up. The Greek verb aprusio implies that the action is quick or forceful. So the translation supplied the adverb suddenly to make this implicit notion clear. Doctrinal history. In 1590, Francisco Ribera, a Catholic Jesuit, taught
A what?
a Catholic Jesuit.
A what?
A Catholic Jesuit.
Start the sentence over.
In 1590, Francisco Ribera.
Now, also, like I said earlier, the other Jesuit that helped, that they wrote him and Loyola, the founder of the Jesuit order, wrote a commentary on Revelation, laying out the doctrinal error, the false doctrines that we see in Christianity today concerning the Antichrist, the all. So keep reading.
Okay. The Catholic Jesuit taught futurism.
What?
Futurism.
So he was the first person that read a Bible that ever taught futurism.
Wow. The idea that most of Revelation was about the future and therefore not about the Catholic Church. He also taught that the rapture would happen 45 days before the end of a 3 to 5 year tribulation. They taught that.
Wow.
They brainwashed these seminaries, right?
Right. Read.
The concept of the rapture in connection with the premillennial, how you say it, Tom?
Premillennial.
Premillennialism was expressed by the 17th century American Puritans increased and Cotton Mather. They held to the idea that believers would be caught up in the air, followed by judgments on earth, and then the millennium. Other 17th century expressions of the rapture are found in the works of Robert Martin, Nathaniel Holmes, John Brown, Thomas Vincent, Henry Davers, and William Sherwin. The term rapture was used by Philip Doddridge and John Gill in the New Testament commentaries with the idea that
New Testament what?
in the New Testament commentaries. Read that. How's that, John?
So a commentary is a man's opinion
That's
or
right.
view about the Bible.
That's right. Come on.
So the Bible doesn't tell you to write commentaries about the Bible.
Come on. With the idea that believers would be caught up prior to judgment on earth and Jesus' second coming.
So that's like a three comings.
Yeah. They got some church, they got him coming 4 times, right?
Christ is only coming back twice. And all
He
this
came
is
already,
one event.
right? And he's coming back one more time. And when he's coming back with flames of fire in his eyes, and he's coming back to destroy the earth.
Read.
Although not using the term rapture, the idea was more fully developed by Edward Irving, 1792-1834. In 1825-35, Irving directed his attention to the study of prophecy and eventually accepted the one-man Antichrist idea.
The what?
Wow. He invented the one-man Antichrist idea of James Henthorne, Todd, Samuel, Godfrey, Martland, Robert Bellarmine, and Francisco Rivera. Yet he went a step further. Irving began to teach the idea of a two-phase return of Christ.
So
now they're coming 3 times.
Again, this idea has further corrupted itself.
And it's
because it's
confusion.
not in the Bible. Because
right. Come on, Josh.
This premillennial or futuristic, and the reason that the people read it futuristic, or the Catholic Church did that, is so you wouldn't be able to see the Roman Catholic Church in the book of Revelation as part of the beast system. And the one-man Antichrist doctrine that the Roman Catholic Church also invented was being brought out. How is that not in the Bible? Because throughout the Bible, governments and nations are defined as Antichrist. You had the Romans, you had the Greeks, you had the Assyrians, the Medes, the Persians, the Babylonians. All these are Antichrists, plural. There's not one.
Come on.
Read.
The first phase being a secret rapture prior to the rise of the Antichrist. Edward Miller described Irving's teachings like this. There are 3 gatherings. First, of the first fruits of the harvest. The wise virgins who follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. Next, the abundant harvest gathered afterwards by God. And lastly, the assembling of the wicked for punishment. Where are you getting this?
I know, right?
John Nelson Darby first proposed and popularized the pre-tribulation rapture in 1827 and 37. This view was accepted among many other Plymouth Brethren movements in England. Darby and other prominent brethren were part of the Brethren movement, which impacted American Christianity, especially with movements and teachings associated with Christian eschatology and fundamentalism. Primarily through their writings, influences included the Bible Conference movement, starting in 1878 with the Niagara Bible Conference. These conferences, which were initially inclusive of historic and futurist premillennialism, led to an increasing acceptance of futurist premillennium views, and the pre-tribulation rapture, especially among Presbyterian, Baptist, Congregational members. Popular books also contributed to acceptance of the pre-tribulation rapture, including William E. Blackstone's book, Jesus is Coming, published in 1878-39, which sold more than 1.3 million copies. Wow. And the Schofield Reference Bible, see that reference, published in 1909 and 1919 and revived in 1967. Wow. The Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Church, the Anglican Communion of many Protestant,
Anglican.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
Anglican.
communion of many Protestant Calvinist denominations have no tradition of a primary return of Christ and reject the doctrine. The Orthodox Church, for example, rejects it because the doctrine of the rapture depends on a millennial interpretation of prophetic scriptures rather than a millennial or postmillennial fashion. Okay. Some opponents of a primary rapture believe the doctrine of amillennialism originated with Alexandrian scholars such as Clement and Origen, and later became Catholic dogma through Augustine. Some pre-tribulation proponents, such as Grant Jeffrey, maintain that the earliest known extra-biblical reference to the pre-tribulation rapture is from the 7th century, tracked down as the Apocalypse of Persuado, Ephraim, and Syrian. Different authors have proposed several different versions of the Ephraim text as authentic, and there are different opinions as to whether it supports belief in a pre-tribulation rapture. One version of the text reads, "For all the saints and elect of God are gathered prior to the tribulation that is to come, and are taken to the Lord, lest they see the confusion that is to overwhelm the world because of our sins."
Okay.
All right. The rise in belief in the pre-tribulation rapture is often wrongly attributed to a 15-year-old Scottish-Irish girl named Margaret MacDonald, who was of the first to receive a spiritual baptism under a Pentecostal awakening in Scotland in 1830. That's a lie. She had a vision of the end times, which describes a post-tribulation view of the rapture that was first published in 1840. It was published again in 1861, but two important passages demonstrating a post-tribulation view were removed to encourage confusion concerning the timing of the rapture. The two removed segments were, "This is the fiery trial which is to try us. It will be for the purging and purifying of the real members of the body of Christ. And the trial of the church is from Antichrist. It is by being filled with the Spirit that we shall be kept." That's true if you have the true spirit of the feminine agenda, Holy Spirit, Ruach. In 1957, John Walvoord, a theologian at Dallas Theological Seminary, authored a book, The Rapture Question, that gave theological support to the pre-tribulation rapture. This book eventually sold over 65,000 copies in 1958. In 1958, J. Dwight Pentecost authored another book supporting the pre-tribulation rapture, Things to Come, a study in biblical eschatology, which sold 215,000 copies. During the 1970s, belief in the rapture became popular in wider circles, in part because of the books of Hale Lindsey, including the late great Planet Earth, which has reportedly sold between 15 million, look at this, and 35 million copies. Wow. Look how they stole from people with lies, Josh. And the movie A Thief in the Night, which based its title on the scriptural reference from 1 Thessalonians 5:2. Lindsley proclaimed that the rapture was imminent based on world conditions at the time. The Cold War figured prominently in this predictions of impending Armageddon. Other aspects of the 1970s global politics were seen as having been predicted in the Bible. Lindsley suggested, for example, that the seven-headed beast with 10 horns cited in the book of Revelation was the European Economic Community, a forebearer of the European Union, which between 1981 and 1986 and the 10 member states. It now has 27 member states. In 1995, the doctrine of the pre-tribulation rapture was further popularized by Tim LaHaye's Left Behind series of books, which sold tens of millions of copies and were made into several movies. Wow, that's it.
Okay.
So you see the lies here. You know, but we're going to use the word. Okay. Where do you want to go? You want to go?
Yeah, let's go to.
Let's go. Now that you know that Christ is only coming back twice. He came back once, right? Right? When he left the earth, right? When the disciples saw him go up, right? In book of Acts, chapter 3 or chapter 1. Okay. When he comes back, he's only coming back one more time. He's not coming a secret time to take the church out. If that's true, then why is the mark of the beast, the RFID chip in Obamacare? Why is the chip here? And why are people taking it in the world if we're supposed to be raptured out?
Yeah. Now we're going to start with Jeremiah 30.
Jeremiah 30. You okay, Mary? Jeremiah 30. See, this tribulation teaching, this rapture teaching has a lot to do with the black Jews. They're the only people, the tribes are the only people in this world that can fulfill prophecy. Right, Josh? Okay. Nobody else can fulfill prophecy. Jeremiah 30, right? Chapter, verse 1.
Now we'll start at the top.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, thus speaketh the Most High power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel.
The what?
My captivity
So
of my people.
He's gonna bring the true Israelites out of captivity one day.
Come on. And Judah, saith the Most High, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers.
I will cause them to return, not the UN and the United Nations.
Yeah, 48. And they shall possess it.
And then they will truly be in their land.
Come on. Read.
And
these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even, watch this, the time of the Christian's trouble.
Of who?
Of the white man's trouble.
Of who?
Of the church's trouble.
Of who?
Jacob's trouble.
Of who?
Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Now that's black Jews and all the tribes are waiting to fulfill prophecy.
Now, let's get some understanding.
You don't like the word? Don't listen.
So let's go to Revelations 19 and 11. 19:11.
Revelation, if you can take it, the truth, 19:11. Josh, what's our motto on our program? 2 Thessalonians, or second, right? 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things.
19:11.
Revelation 19:11. Got it, Tony? Okay. And I saw heaven opened.
So this is at the second coming when,
Come on.
everyone will be caught up or raptured.
That's right. And behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true.
Mm.
And in righteousness,
And in what?
the law,
And in what?
the law,
And in
the
righteousness. read.
Sabbath, right? And he doth judge and make war. His eyes were like a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Read. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
So the blood is the blood of the nations that he's going to trample
Come
and
on.
kill.
And his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. No, he's coming back to hug you.
And out of his mouth comes a what?
To kiss you. A sharp sword,
Which is the words of the Most High.
that with it he should smite the nations. No, he's going to love all the nations.
He's going to do what?
Smite the nations.
And
he shall rule them with candy cotton,
with what?
ice cream, a rod of iron.
And a rod of what?
Iron.
Read.
And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the almighty power. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
Right. So he's the King of Kings and he's the Master of Masters. So now let's go to the book of Matthew 23, verse 29.
Let's see what Matthew says. What's Matthew what, Josh?
23, 29.
Matthew 23, 29. All right. Just one verse?
No, we're going to...
All right, 29. 23, 29. So you see how we're fitting this together, what we read tonight? He's coming back one more time. He's not coming in a secret place. Come on up. Then after you come up, I'm going to go to the 7th tribulation. Matthew 24.
23, 29.
All right, 23, 29. Sorry, folks. All right, here we go. Ready? Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
Oh, sorry. I meant Matthew 24, 29.
I said, oh, okay. All right.
Matthew 24, 29.
That's fine. Ready? Right here, the coming of the Son of Man. Immediately after the tribulation.
After the what?
So
there is a tribulation in the Bible, but it's not a 7 year. It's a 42 month or 3.5 years.
Great. And guess what?
Tribulation.
The tribes have been in tribulation, great tribulation, since, we can read it, Luke, since AD 70.
But it's going to get intenser towards the end.
Right. But it's not going to come all one time, buildings will fall and people screaming like the movies. It's not going to happen like that, Josh. I don't believe it's going to happen like that. Immediately, wait, hold on, Josh, that's wrong. Wait a minute. No, I'm not rebuking in front of people. Listen, if we've been in the Great Tribulation and we've seen, right, Tony, 2 world wars, how many more people do we have to see killed in America? People going to jail for murder and rape, cutting people up, marriages destroyed, homes destroyed. How much more trouble do you want to see?
Well, it is going to get intenser.
Wait, it's going to get right. You're right. No, listen, I love my son. Listen,
because the birth pains are coming.
Right.
It's like a baby.
Right.
The birth when the
no. Here's what they think. He's right. It's going to intensify with the same thing that's here. What else can happen? But homosexual, lesbian, it's all here already. But it's going to get worse. It's going to
explode
against us,
and it's going to start happening like every day.
Right there, you go.
Then you'll know. Then it's about to burst. In other words,
look at pedophiles. They're getting sentenced, right, Tony? Yeah. They're getting less and less time for messing around with your children. They're getting 5, 8 years. Now they're getting 3, 2. Pretty soon they get out in 2 months. Okay, ready? Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven.
The fallen angels.
Come on, Josh. Tell them what that means.
Fallen angels are coming down to earth, and still cohabiting and showing men more hidden knowledge.
That's why you have technology. They're coming down. When you see a shooting star, that's an angel. It's coming down to earth, comes as a man, and it cohabits with a woman. And he gets into theology. What do you call it? Technology. Yeah, I know that sounds wrong, but that's true. That's what's happening. Okay. Do your research. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes, no, all the Christians,
All the tribes of the earth.
all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Uh-huh.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven.
So
you know what? The
when
tribes
he
are going to
comes,
mourn. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a happy mourn, Josh. If it's the tribes that I'm talking about.
no, that's not talking about Israel. That's talking about
All the people. Okay.
That's talking about like the
Sorry.
people he's coming back to destroy.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be afraid.
I got you. All right, good. I see that.
Uh-huh.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven, chariots, right?
Uh-huh.
With power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. Ah, there it is, Josh.
Uh-huh.
The last trumpet. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds.
That's Jews and Gentiles
Awesome.
from both all winds of the earth.
We
Read.
keep the Sabbath, we keep the Lord's right from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn it. You want to read?
Uh-huh.
Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Tony, 33. So likewise,
ye
take your time. When ye shall
you shall
see.
see all these things,
Go ahead.
know that it
Is near.
is near,
Good.
even
At
the door.
That's right. Even at the door. Good,
So
Tony.
we are to know, in other words, we
Good.
can know the closer we are by the signs and by the intensity of the birth
Sin
pains.
is rampant right now in the world. It's going to get worse. It's going to get so bad that I'm telling you, people, you better have guns. I wrote a book and the Most High told me not to publish it. I look back at that book a couple of times. A lot of it's true. When he showed me to write, it's true. You better have guns. You better get ready because they're going to just come someday and just bang down your door and try to get in your house. That's how bad it's going to get. Remember the days of Lot?
Uh-huh.
What happened? When those homosexuals came in, they tried to break down the door. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 33, right? So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, assuredly, this is going to happen. This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled.
So
now, he's talking about right now.
The generation and all the generations that followed 70 AD the earth will not this will happen. Then the last generation will see the return of Christ, which is we're in that generation right now.
Wow, awesome. So in other words, he's actually saying, right, just what you said, that's good, Johnson. We're not going to miss. Hey, was that scripture in Ezra? Isn't that awesome? Isn't it better to be left behind? And that Lion movie says, no, you got to be taken. No, we're more blessed if we're left behind because we're going to be tested here. See, the Christians want to escape.
Now
they're running, Josh.
Let's go to second.
All right, that's it.
So let's go to Ezra's.
Wait, all right. You want to finish it? Heaven until shall pass, but my words. Oh, you don't want to finish it? Okay. All right. Okay.
Second Ezra's.
Wow, there's another, Josh. What do you call a precept? Look, heaven and earth shall pass, but my words shall not pass away.
Second Ezra.
Second Ezra's
13.
13 where, Josh?
We're gonna read from the
top.
We're gonna read a little at the top.
This is awesome, Josh. Vision of the man from the sea. You see, folks, Christianity has destroyed millions of lives in the world today with false doctrine. And I'm saying this in kindness to you, in love. I don't claim to know it all. Nobody does. But we've done research, and we know people who do research. And they're right. Everyone that we've learned from, everyone has been right on what they've showed us, where to go to research. And we know for a fact that Christianity is a made-up religion by the Vatican that's pushed this way and made inroads into the United States. Do you know that there's just as many, maybe not more, but there's just as many Catholic churches as there are Protestant. There are just as many Catholic schools and colleges. They have made an inroad in our country. And we can prove to you, you might know this already, no president is elected in this country by voters. They have to go through Rome. Rome has the final say who becomes president in this country. And we know that for a fact. You can go on YouTube and find it, right, Josh? That's what we found. All right, where do you want to go?
13, 2 Ezra 13 and 1.
And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, the people. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That's Yashayah. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. That's great, Josh. It fits right in there. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice.
Right.
So, go ahead. I know what you want to say. Go ahead, Josh.
Read.
All right. And whosoever, burn, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
So all the governments of this earth is going to be in the Middle East waiting for Christ to come back to try to fight and stop him from returning.
That's right. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. They still wanted to fight, and they knew they were going to lose. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire. Revelation. And out of his lips a flaming breath. And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And you telling me the Apocrypha is not the Bible? And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke.
Now,
wow, thank you, Messiah.
Let's go to let's skip to verse 7, verse 6, verse 15.
15? 15. Okay, ready? 13, 15. Okay, 14, 15. Okay. Now, show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days. which shall happen unto them, and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days.
Right. So understand, basically,
now listen.
What that means is it's better for you to be alive at this time when Christ comes back than for you to be dead or raptured away, because you're going to see all this come to pass in your eyesight.
Right. How is he going to purify us if we're looking to escape?
Right. Read.
The Christian church is in sin up to here. And they admit it, so they know. And you're not ready to be purged? Okay, Josh. Where?
Keep reading.
All right. Okay. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the things that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time, endure until the last time, the same shall be saved, Josh. The peril in that time hath kept himself, that they that be fallen into danger, as such as have works and faith toward the Almighty.
So if we endure,
come on,
and we are not taken away, which we won't be, we will be rewarded with a crown.
Wow. Now this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the...
Read it again.
Listen to that. I know it went right over the head. Listen to this. Now this, therefore, that they which be left behind...
So those who are still here when Christ returns, read.
Are more blessed.
Or what?
Are more blessed.
Are not blessed.
Are more blessed.
Read.
Than they that be dead.
So it's more better for you to be alive and go through all this trouble because you're going to see Christ return. Read.
Awesome, Josh. That puts joy in my spirit. Now, know this thereof, that they would... Okay, sorry. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom the power, the highest, hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature.
Read.
And he shall order them that are left behind. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came when he came on the horse, that came in to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth.
Read.
And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another.
Kingdom against kingdom.
Come on. And one realm against another.
Nation against nation.
All right, this is the great tribulation, John. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. Then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle. They have once one against another, and the multitude, and innumerable multitude shall be gathered together.
Stop.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now?
Awesome. You don't have the Apocrypha, shame on you. That's
what is the name of the Messiah? Let's go to
yeah, let's get his name.
Let's go to Ezra. Ezra, 2nd Ezra 32, 2nd Ezra 2, chapter 2, 36.
If you can tell his name. Okay.
2nd Ezra 2:36.
2nd Ezra 2. 2, Josh?
Uh-huh.
2:36.
Excuse me.
You know what? You don't go out for a while. You're going to the doctor break.
I think it's 36.
36. I'll get it.
Uh-huh.
All right. 2:36. Ready? Flee the shadow of this world.
Get out of this system.
Good. Receive the joyfulness of your glory.
Read.
I testify, my Savior.
My who?
My Savior.
Yashayah. Read it again.
Openly. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify, my Savior.
My Savior in the Hebrew is Yashayah.
Openly.
Uh-huh. Now let's go to Thessalonians chapter 4.
Which one?
1 Thessalonians 4. 14.
First Thessalonians what?
4:14.
4:14. Okay. Now that you got the right picture of what we read tonight, listen to 4. What? 14? 2 Thessalonians 4. No, you said 4.
4:14.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. 1 Thessalonians 4:14. I listen. Sorry. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak,
Uh-huh.
be patient toward all men. See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Rejoice evermore.
Uh-huh.
Pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks. Oh, there's Thanksgiving. That's where you get Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's where you get it from. I'm telling you, it's all over the year. Listen to our message on Thanksgiving. If you know what it's really about, the origins of it, you'll throw your turkey out the window.
4:14.
Right. That's what I
Very
read.
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4:14. Sorry. Okay, 4:14. For if we believe that Yashayah died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yashayah will Ahayah bring with him. Sorry, Josh. For this we say unto you by the word of the Most High, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Most High.
Unto the what?
The coming of the Most High, Christ,
The Messiah comes back. We'll still be here.
That's the second coming.
Uh-huh.
Shall not prevent them which are asleep.
The ones, the holy ones that have died.
That's when they come out.
Read.
Not before the Great Tribulation. To prevent them which are asleep. For the Most High himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangels, that's the last trump, and with the trump of Ahayah, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds,
Right.
to meet the Most High in the air, to meet the Mashiach.
So
that's the last day. Good, good, Josh.
That's all.
That's good. That's good. Let's talk. Let's talk a little. I told him before, you got up before. Christianity, all it is a rule of evil against the new modern Christians, especially today in the Christian church. Deceived like I have never seen before. Never seen before. With all this mythology, this what do you call it? What's that word that they use? The Greeks.
Philosophy.
Philosophy, like you wouldn't believe. They don't even want to hear the word anymore. They just want to hear what the pastor says. The pastor might say a few good things, folks. But let me tell you something. If he's come out of Rome seminaries, and I'm sure he has. What do you mean, Brother Pat, Rome? You telling me that our pastors are from Rome? If you sat in the seminaries in the United States, yeah, you are exactly learning from Roman Catholicism. And it's in the Christian church.
So, with that said, we're going to say shalom,
Shalom.
until next time.
Shalom.
Until Saturday.